And we are strong people. Yes, we've gone through a lot of times that we wish we didn't have to, but we came through them together. Together is where we're at.
In 1954, Indian Superintendent E. Morgan Price submitted a bill to Congress saying the tribes had agreed to termination, which was, in fact, false. On August 13, 1954, President Eisenhower signed off on Public Law 588, also known as the Western Oregon Indian Termination Act. This meant the loss of federal recognition, treaty rights, and land, which forced many to relocate off the reservation. Native people also lost traditions, access to health care, and education. According to Grand Ronde Tribal curriculum, tribal elder Margaret Provost once said, "At the stroke of a pen, they wiped us away." Tribes remained terminated for almost 30 years. However, starting in the 70s, gathering at the only property Grand Ronde had left, the cemetery, Margaret Provost, Marvin Kimsey, and Merle Holmes sparked the efforts towards restoration. Through the power of bake sale fundraisers, grants, raffles, countless hours of dedication and work, and several trips to Washington, D.C., the Grand Ronde Restoration Bill was presented on September 14, 1983. On November 11, 1983, the Grand Ronde Restoration Act passed the Senate without amendments. 8 days later, on November 22, 1983, it was signed by President Reagan into law. In Kimsey's 2018 Walking On article on smoke signals, he was reported to have said, "It is impossible to tell you everything that went on in restoration and what it entailed. It really is. You just have to be there. There were a lot of sacrifices made. We weren't always a tribe with a casino or a tribe with timber even. The hours were long and tedious, and there were times I wondered if it was worth it." For the Grand Ronde people, November 22nd is a day of remembrance for the dark 29 years of termination. But it's also a day of celebration for the last 36 years of restored tribal identity.
It was a real trying time. I was on council mainly because I ran a program in Eugene, and I had phone service, secretary to type, and paper and everything because we didn't have any money. The younger people now don't realize what it was like during termination, because it was a time when you didn't outwardly tell people you were Indian, but if you were asked, you told them, because it wasn't cool to be Indian then.
But it is now.
Yeah.
I think this year's restoration means to me that it's just a time where we can remember where we came from, remember our ancestors, and be inclusive to one another in the families and bring everybody together. And it's just a day of appreciation for everything that we have. Native Americans are a big part of history for America, and I think it's not only important for us to educate our people and our younger generations, but for all people. So just as they were doing in the public school system now, in teaching factual, true Native American history, I think is really important. And in my time on being on council, I've had the opportunity to teach a lot of people and to talk a lot, and people are really interested.